Chapter 3282. Ahihi. Wang Xian chuckled when he heard the white-clad old man from the Gu Hai race. You're very fast in finalizing the price. It only took you a few seconds to finalize the price. Wang Xian asked indifferently. That's the rule. If no one bids, we can just settle it. The white-clad old man shrugged as his eyes flickered as he swept his gaze across all the customers. Everyone, our Gu Hai race has been established in the continental starry heavens for billions of years. We uphold the principle of giving priority to our customers. We will never harm our customers' interests. His voice rang in everyone's ears. Everyone present knew that although the Gu Hai race was shameless, it was within the rules. The main reason was the experts from the orthodox god races. No one dared to compete with them. No one dared to compete with them. That person can be said to be unlucky. Some of the experts thought to themselves. Damn. I can't be that unlucky, right? We are already at the end, and this brat suddenly appeared. If he purposely raises the price, won't I have to increase the price? At this moment, the old man holding the wine flask on a mountain peak in front of the auction platform saw this scene. He could no longer sit still and immediately stood up. Old wine, the last acquired spiritual treasure, might not be placed by that youth. Don't be anxious. You will bid later. If anyone dares to compete with you, just beat him up. An old man at the side said with a chuckle. Since they, the orthodox god races, were about to disembark, they could be more fearless. Next, we will start bidding for the last item, a metal attribute acquired spiritual treasure, a peak defensive acquired spiritual treasure. Similarly, the starting bid will be 5 tribulation divine stones. The voice of the white-clad old man continued to ring out from the auction platform. The auction continued. Damn. I want this treasure. Anyone who dares to compete with me will be going against me. The moment the white-clad old man from the Gu Hai race finished speaking, the old man holding the wine flask stood up forcefully and roared. Compared to those people earlier, he was even more fearless. He even made it clear that anyone who dared to compete with him would be going against him. It looks like the metal attribute acquired spiritual treasure is going to end up in the hands of the orthodox god races. Everyone thought to themselves when they saw the expert from the upright god race roaring so arrogantly. This acquired spiritual treasure was also put up for auction by that young man. I wonder how he will react. If he increases the price himself, I think that expert from the orthodox god clan will attack him directly. Let's see if that young man will court death or not. In any case, it has nothing to do with us. We will just earn a little less. It won't affect us much. If there really is a conflict, will we care? There's no need for that. The others can understand as well. What can we do when the righteous god races make a move? The old men of the ancient sea race chatted in the back. Although the upright god race had disrupted their auction, everything was still under their control. The profits this time would not be too small. These 3 metal-type acquired spiritual treasures were all consigned by me for auction. It seems like you orthodox god clans think that I'm easy to bully? Wang Xian watched as the auction continued. When the last item was taken out and the old man from an orthodox god race made a strong bid, he sneered and said, The 3 metal-type acquired spiritual treasures are all his? It seems like he has gotten a great opportunity. This is bad luck. He didn't even get the price of 2 of the 3 acquired spiritual treasures. This is a loss. What bad luck? When some people heard what Wang Xian said, they were shocked. Following which, they started discussing softly. If there's no more competition, this treasure will belong to me. However, the old man with the wine pot seemed to have not heard Wang Xian. He took a sip of wine and said, 15 calamity divine stones. I'll give you one last chance. Wang Xian said plainly when he heard him. He made a bid and raised the price to 15 calamity divine stones. When everyone heard Wang Xian's words, they were taken aback and were shocked. On the auction stage, the old man in white was also shocked and his eyes flickered. Don't give me face. Die. However, at the next moment, the old man from an orthodox god race who was about to drink wine heard Wang Xian, and his face turned gloomy. He waved his arm and the wine pot in his hand emitted a golden radiance as it attacked Wang Xian. The sudden attack caused everyone to be slightly startled. "Everyone, please calm down," the old man in white on the auction stage said plainly. He did not stop them. Of course, the ancient sea race did not have the strength to stop them. Ha! When Wuxia saw the old man attacking him, he burst into laughter, and a terrifying murderous aura burst out from his body. His figure moved and disappeared in an instant. In the next moment, he appeared beside the old man with the wine pot. "You're courting death. I gave you a chance but you didn't cherish it. Then, all of you shall die." Wuxia's chilling voice reached the ears of all the orthodox god races. The old man who had just thrown the wine pot sensed a figure beside him. His eyes narrowed and his face was filled with horror. Bam! In the next moment, a terrifying force shrouded him and wiped out all his vitality. At the same time, Wuxia waved his arm, and the destructive force of the 5 elements shrouded the surroundings. "Oh no, run! Shit!" At this moment, the surrounding experts from the orthodox god races were horrified, and their eyes were filled with fear. The strength that Wuxia had unleashed made them fearful. What? At this moment, everyone's expression changed drastically. That young man actually attacked. Moreover, how could his speed be so horrifying? That rank 5 venerable from the orthodox god races was instantly killed? Oh no, stop. Don't you dare cause trouble in the territory of the ancient sea race. When the experts at the back of the Gu Hai race saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically as they roared loudly. "Cause trouble in your territory? Ha ha ha." Wuxia laughed hysterically. Swoosh. In the next moment, the horrifying energy swept across. No no no. Oh no. Around him, the expressions of all the righteous god clans on the surrounding mountains changed drastically, and they were filled with shock. As the destructive force of the 5 elements swept across, everyone died instantly. Thousands of experts and disciples from the orthodox god races, including the strongest rank 5 venerable realm, were instantly killed. Until their deaths, they could not understand why such a terrifying existence suddenly appeared in the continental starry sky. How could anyone dare to kill them? They were the strongest force in the continental starry sky. Chapter 3283. SSS. How is this possible? This, all the experts from the orthodox god races were killed by him in an instant. What terrifying strength! How dare he? The combat strength of a rank 6 universe supremacy. His strength is at least that of a rank 6 universe supremacy. With such strength, why wouldn't he dare? The orthodox god races are about to disembark. After killing them, we will leave immediately. In the future, the orthodox god races won't be able to take revenge. The orthodox god races have met a tough opponent. When Wuxia attacked in an instant and slaughtered a group of universe supremacies from the orthodox god clans, everyone was shocked. This was the orthodox god race, the strongest race in the continental encirclement starry sky. However, some people were also shocked by Wuxia's strength and agreed with his actions. The orthodox god races were strong, but so what if they killed them? I will leave immediately after killing them. When the orthodox god races disembark on the chaotic continent, can't they take revenge on me? With the rules in place, the orthodox god races wouldn't dare to take revenge. In the auction just now, the orthodox god races were so domineering and disregarded their status because they were about to disembark and had no scruples. However, they had never expected to encounter a rank 6 universe supremacy expert. I wonder what the orthodox god races will do now. They can only blame themselves for being too greedy. He must have obtained a great opportunity to sell 3 acquired spiritual treasures. Although it's unexpected that he has such strength, it's not too surprising. The combat strength of a rank 6 universe supremacy is considered top-notch in our continental encirclement starry sky. The rest of the people in the auction hall continued to discuss. Stop! Stop for our ancient sea race. When the experts of the ancient sea race saw all the experts and disciples of the orthodox god races killed, their expressions changed drastically, and they immediately shouted. This was the territory of the ancient sea race. The experts of the orthodox god races died here. If the orthodox god races blamed them, they would have to pay a huge price. More than 10 experts of the ancient sea race flew into the sky and shouted with bitter expressions. Around them, 20 galactic beasts roared in unison, and a horrifying aura rushed over. Hee. When Wang Xian heard them, he waved his arm and collected the corpses of the thousands of experts from the orthodox god races. Then, he looked at the people from Gu Hai's race with a stern expression. Just now, when the main god clans attacked first, why didn't you stop them? He said coldly, his eyes flashing with killing intent. He's very strong. It's not easy for us to deal with him. Let's delay him for a while. We don't even need to do anything. The experts of the righteous god clans will naturally come and destroy him. 10 odd ancient sea race elders hovered in the air. The old man in the lead transmitted his voice. Dear customer, everything that happened just now was too sudden. We naturally had to stop the one from the upright god clan. However, you are faster and stronger. The leading old man explained to Wang Xian after transmitting his voice. Oh really? Wang Xian said coldly. Of course. You are our customer, and the others are also our customers. We naturally treat our customers equally. The old man continued with a smile. That's right. Customer, please calm down and calm down. The white-robed old man on the auction stage pursed his lips and said to him. Friend, we'll give you the items you've put up for auction, as well as all your gains. Besides that, we'll also return the 3 acquired spiritual treasures to you. As an apology, we won't take any commission from you. Another old man said. Oh. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. He squinted his eyes and said, Great. Give me all the items that I've submitted for auction immediately. Sure. Customer, please wait for a moment. We will prepare them for you immediately. The leading old man said immediately as he gestured to the other old man beside him. The entire army of the upright god clans is just around. Why isn't he leaving? If he doesn't leave now, he probably won't be able to leave even if he wants to. In the auction hall, everyone was shocked when they saw Wang Xian still waiting for the items they had submitted for auction. Hurry up. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and spoke plainly to the ancient sea race. Yes. Please wait for a moment. Customer, the number of items and divine stones involved is too huge. We will need tens of seconds. The white-robed old man on the auction stage replied immediately. Great. Wang Xian smiled faintly. What happened to the batch of experts and disciples that we sent to the ancient sea race? How did they get wiped out all of a sudden? At the same time, in the void not far from the ancient sea race's mainland, behind the grand upright god combat body in the center, there was a majestic palace. Inside the palace, 2 old men emitting golden light sensed that the spirit tablets of thousands of their clansmen in the sacred hall behind them had suddenly cracked. Their eyes narrowed. In order to prepare for this landing battle, the upright god clans had been preparing for hundreds of millions of years. Before they set off, all the spirit tablets of their clansmen had been transferred to this sacred hall. Once their clansmen died, they would be able to sense it immediately. They could even sense the level of their clansmen who died, and the general direction of their deaths. All this was to prepare for the upcoming battle. However, they did not expect that thousands of their clansmen's spirit tablets would crack before the battle even started. Among them were a few rank 5 universe venerables from the clan. What? On the left and right sides of the palace, 28 figures shrouded in golden light were slightly shocked when they heard the words of the Laozu in front. 3 rank 5 universe venerables and over 2,000 clansmen were killed on the ancient sea race's mainland. Go and investigate. No matter who the murderer is, kill him. One of the 2 old men in the center said coldly. Yes. Immediately, 5 old men stood up on the left and right sides of the sacred hall. With a swift move, they turned into golden light and flew towards the ancient sea race's mainland. The landing battle is near. Don't let any accidents happen. The old man in the center continued plainly. Boom. Boom. In the void beside the army of the upright god clans, 5 golden figures flew rapidly towards the ancient sea race's main road. Their bodies were filled with an awe-inspiring killing intent. How dare they kill the disciples of the upright god clans at this time? They must be courting death. At this time in the ancient sea race's auction hall, Wang Xian sensed 5 figures flying over. He curled his lips slightly and looked at the crowd from the ancient sea race. You guys are a little slow. These are the 3 acquired spiritual treasures that you put up for auction. These are the gains from the other items. As soon as he finished his sentence, an old man waved his arm and threw all the items towards Wang Xian. He sensed the position in front of him and his eyes flickered. Chapter 3284, Bam. 2 acquired spiritual treasures and 3 metal attribute acquired spiritual treasures flew into Wang Xian's hands. He extended his hand and held it in his hand to sense it. You guys really timed it well. His eyes flickered as he glanced at the 5 golden silhouettes that were flying in his direction and spoke plainly. This is not what we wanted to see. The old man leading the Gu Hai race said with regret. Now that the orthodox god races are coming over aggressively, this is your territory. Don't you have anything to say about it? Wang Xian looked at them and asked plainly. I'm sorry. The orthodox god races are stronger than us. We can't do anything if they want to come over. The old man leading the Gu Hai race shook his head. Who killed our people from the orthodox god races? At this moment, a voice filled with murderous intent was heard, accompanied by a horrifying golden radiance. Wang. In the next moment, a huge golden alms bowl appeared in the sky, and rays of golden radiance shrouded the area below. Oh no, it's a confinement-type acquired spiritual treasure. Let's dodge it. Oh no, it's too late. The area it covers is too wide. At this moment, all the experts in the auction hall were horrified as they quickly dodged to the side. Lords from the orthodox god races. This has nothing to do with the Gu Hai race. When the experts from the Gu Hai race saw the horrifying aura, their expressions changed slightly. Although there were 20 galactic beasts around them, they did not dare to act presumptuously in the face of the 5 rank 6 supremacies from the orthodox god races. The 5 rank 6 supremacies from the orthodox god races squinted their eyes and looked at Wang Xian. Who's the reckless one? The leading expert from the orthodox god races continued to ask with murderous intent. A horrifying aura swept across the auction hall. This customer had a conflict with the righteous god clans. The old man in white from the Gu Hai race said hurriedly when he felt the horrifying aura. Very good. When Wang Xian saw the old man in white pointing at him, he revealed a smile. Courting death. You dare to kill our people from the orthodox god races? Die. The 5 rank 6 supremacies from the orthodox god clans locked onto Wang Xian. In the next instant, they moved and charged towards Wang Xian with terrifying aura. The 5 of them did not ask too many questions. In the entire continental encirclement starry sky, their righteous god race was the strongest existence. Even the second-ranked ancient sea race was far behind them. They had the strongest universe venerable level 7 experts in the continent encirclement galaxy. Therefore, when facing Wang Xian, they did not waste any time and killed him directly. Even if the opponent had the strength of a universe 6th order venerable, with the strength of the 5 of them, they could also kill it. What terrifying power! That expert is going to suffer. He didn't escape in time. He's in big trouble now. Even if he has the strength of a 6th order universe venerable, he's not a match for the 5 of the upright god clans. Let's retreat quickly. Don't get caught up in it. How can we be affected? 5 against 1. We should be able to quickly suppress and kill him. Everyone in the auction house discussed as they came to the edge of the golden alms bowl. They did not have high hopes for Wang Xian. After all, based on the strength that Wang Xian had displayed, he was likely to be a universe 6th order venerable. Facing 5 existences of the same level alone, with the surrounding routes sealed, the possibility of him dying was very high. Going against the upright god clans, isn't he courting death? The experts of the ancient sea race thought to themselves coldly as they looked over. Tizke. Wang Xian looked coldly at the 5 tier 6 universe supremacies who were charging towards him. Die. In the next moment, the 5 experts from the upright god clans roared, and launched a series of terrifying attacks towards Wang Xian. The upright god clans were good at close combat. At this moment, the 5 of them were about 50 kilometers away from him. At this distance, The 5 of them were confident that they could kill the other party in an instant. You're courting death. Wang Xian had a cold look on his face. At the instant when their attacks were about to hit, the Tai Chi dragon plate appeared around him. A Tai Chi shadow swept towards the 5 Universe 6th Order Venerables in front of him. The Tai Chi dragon plate's strongest point was its defense. However, under Wang Xian's control, killing a Universe 6th Order Venerable was a piece of cake. Wang. The Tai Chi dragon plate shadow flashed, and the terrifying golden radiance disappeared instantly. Arg. In the next moment, the power of yin and yang descended on their bodies, wiping out their vitality. What? He's not a Universe 6th Order Venerable, he's a rank 7. SS. How is this possible? Since when did a rank 7 Universe Venerable appear in our continental encirclement galaxy? At this moment, when everyone saw the 5 Universe 6th Order Venerables from the Upright God clans being killed in an instant, they felt their scalps go numb. Someone exclaimed in disbelief. How is this possible? However, when they saw the 5 corpses floating in the air, they had no choice but to believe it. A Universe 7th Order Venerable. In the continental encirclement galaxy, this was considered a pinnacle existence. The only known Universe 7th Order Venerables were the 2 from the Upright God clans. Since when did another one appear? And it was someone that no one knew? How is this possible? All the experts from the Upright God clans were shocked when they saw this. A bunch of trash, how dare you provoke me? Wang Xian said in disdain. With a wave of his arm, he kept the 5 corpses. Gulp. Seeing the 5 Universe 6th Order Venerables being killed in an instant, everyone from the Upright God clans swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the surroundings, landing on the experts from the Upright God clans. Congratulations. Congratulations, sir. When all the experts from the Upright God clans saw Wang Xian looking over, their hearts tightened. The leading old man hurriedly bowed and said. His forehead was drenched in cold sweat. A Universe 7th Order Venerable was no longer someone that the Upright God clans could afford to offend. I declare that the Upright God clans shall be annihilated. Wang Xian stared at them and said calmly, unrelated people leave immediately. He continued. When he finished his sentence, he was already in front of the experts from the Upright God clans. Everyone was shocked when they heard this, and their faces were filled with horror. Especially the experts from the Upright God clans. The other party wanted to annihilate them, the Upright God clans. How? How could this be? Chapter 3285. SSS, this Lord wants to annihilate the Gu Hai race. His strength is too horrifying. He killed 5 rank 6 universe supremacies in an instant. Even among the rank 7 universe supremacies, he's probably one of the stronger ones. The Gu Hai race is in deep trouble this time. They've kicked an iron plate. They're going to face a huge disaster this time. The Gu Hai race deserves it. This lord held an auction here, and was suppressed by the Orthodox God races. They didn't say anything. When the Orthodox God races attacked this lord, they didn't stop them. Instead, this lord attacked them. They spoke up to stop them, obviously thinking that he's a pushover. They even pointed out that this lord was the one who said it. Great, now they've completely angered him. Retreat, retreat, retreat. The Gu Hai race is going to have a good time next. Everyone in the auction hall immediately flew away when they heard Wang Xian's words. The golden light released by the alms bowl disappeared after the rank 6 universe supremacy was killed. They all flew up to the sky to avoid being implicated. Everyone looked at Gu Hai's group with mockery on their faces. They had seen the scene just now. The Gu Hai race was obviously afraid of the Orthodox God races, and had intentionally bullied that lord. However, they didn't expect this lord's strength to be so terrifying. The Gu Hai race had kicked an iron plate. Rumble. At the same time, in the temple in the center of the Orthodox God race army, the 2 elders on the seats in the center of the hall suddenly stood up at this moment. Their expressions were extremely ugly. 3rd elder and the other 4 are dead. How is this possible? 3rd elder and the other 4 are rank 6 universe supremacies. They even have treasures. What happened? What the hell happened? In front of them, the 20 over rank 6 venerables immediately stood up, their expressions extremely ugly. They could feel the spirit tablets of Third Elder and the other foreshadowing. This meant that the 5 of them were dead. Moreover, they were killed in an instant. In an instant, 5 rank 6 universe supremacies were killed. Who was the culprit? How strong was the culprit? Damn it, such a thing actually happened at this time. The 2 elders from the Upright God clans looked extremely embarrassed. They moved and instantly rushed out of the temple. 5 level 6 venerables were instantly killed. This was definitely not something a level 6 venerable could do. Now that the righteous god races were embarking, they had reached a critical juncture. But now, a mysterious existence had appeared, continuously killing many of their experts. This made their hearts burn with rage. At the same time, they had a bad feeling in their hearts. Go. Seeing the 2 patriarchs fly out, the rest of the rank 6 venerables followed closely behind. A bunch of reckless fools die. In the auction hall of the ancient sea race, Wuxia waved his arm. A wave of 5 elements power of annihilation shrouded the group of venerables from the ancient sea race. Given his current strength, there was no need for him to use the peerless sacred wings or the 5 elements grind. Facing this group of strongest 5th order venerables, he could kill them easily. The 5 elements power of destruction swept towards the 10-odd venerates of the ancient sea race. At this moment, the 10-odd venerables of the ancient sea race turned pale, their eyes filled with despair. Under Wuxia's terrifying speed, they had no way of dodging. No, Lord, don't kill us. It's our ancient sea race's fault. Don't kill us. Terrified voices came out of their mouths as they begged for mercy. How could they have imagined that this young man before them would be so terrifying? There were only a few rank 7 venerables in the surrounding continent, yet they had encountered one. How could they be so unlucky? Kiki. Wuxia sneered. The river of annihilation swept past their bodies and immediately melted them. At this moment, the surrounding 20 galactic beasts roared as they stared coldly at Wuxia. Rumble. Who dares to cause trouble here? The huge commotion immediately alerted one of the rank 6 venerables of the ancient sea race in the depths of the continent. He moved and instantly appeared at the side of the auction hall. Wang. At this moment, the entire ancient sea race's continent was filled with anxious noises. Upon hearing the noises, the experts and disciples of the ancient sea race's continent quickly flew over. Die. Wuxia swept his gaze across. Instantly, countless blood-red chains appeared around him. The chains attacked the surrounding galactic beasts and the rank 6 venerables. Oh no! The rank 6 venerables of the ancient sea race, who had just flown out, was horrified when he saw the terrifying blood-red chains. The blood-red chains made him feel as though he was facing great terror. Boom! He hurriedly launched an attack, continuously attacking the blood-red chain. However, his speed was still too slow. His attack power landed on the blood-red chain, but it had no effect at all. Oh no, galactic beasts, attack! The old man from the ancient sea race roared with bloodshot eyes when he sensed the terrifying attack. Lord, how did we offend you? Why are you attacking us? Following which he roared anxiously. You'll have to ask the ancient sea race. Wuxia replied sternly. In the next instant, the blood-red chains arrived before the galactic beasts. The starry sky beasts let out furious roars. Terrifying hurricanes gathered around them and charged towards the chains. However, to everyone's horror, the chains penetrated the bodies of the galactic beasts easily. The blood-red chains were like life-reaping chains. The galactic beasts could not resist at all. The horrifying chains penetrated the bodies of 20 galactic beasts. The galactic beasts let out agonizing cries as the 20 galactic beasts writhed in pain in the void. Oh no! How did those damned guys offend such a horrifying existence? The rank 6 venerables of the ancient sea race roared furiously when he saw the blood-red chains surrounding him. How did those damn trash from the ancient sea race offend such an enemy? At this moment, Wuxia did not show any mercy. He swung the chains and charged towards all the galactic beasts and the rank 6 venerables. Chapter 3286. No. Ow ow. Ow ow. Screams could be heard. One of the 20 mastiff beasts was a rank 6 universe supremacy. It was an old rank 6 universe supremacy. He died instantly under Wang Xian's chain attack. That old rank 6 universe supremacy did not even have the chance to escape. Logically speaking, a rank 6 universe supremacy should have a high chance of escaping and returning to his own holy kingdom when facing a rank 7 universe supremacy. However, Wang Xian was not a rank 7 universe supremacy. Now he could even kill a universe venerable with the combat power of a level 8 universe venerable. Coupled with the universal locking dragon eyes attack, a rank 6 universe supremacy could not even dream of escaping. Screams could be heard. As the strongest attack of the Guhai race, the 20 mastiff beasts were killed instantly. That was a total of 20 mastiff beasts. There were only over 100 mastiff beasts in the entire Guhai race. Now, 20 of them were killed. This was a huge loss to the Guhai race. However, the Guhai race could not care less about such losses at this point. Oh no, our Guhai race has offended a powerful being. One of our Laozu was killed. And so were the 20 mastiff beasts. This is not something we can resist. Run and report to the Patriarch immediately. That person is so strong. We can't defeat him. Run. At this moment, experts in other parts of the Guhai race continent heard the alarm and flew over. When they saw the 20-star behemoths and their Patriarch being killed, their faces were filled with shock and horror. Without any hesitation, they fled into the distance. Some of them were even prepared to flee back to their own holy kingdoms. Buzz buzz. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the surroundings with a sinister look in his eyes. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone appeared and swept across the surroundings. A grayish river of destruction swept across the surroundings at a terrifying speed. The river of destruction contained a horrifying aura that engulfed the entire galaxy at a terrifying speed. When everyone sensed this terrifying energy, their faces were filled with shock. Oh no, run. 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 Some universe venerables sensed the terrifying speed of the river and shouted in horror. Some experts who wanted to run back to their divine kingdoms paled. The Annihilation River was simply too fast. What kind of power is this? Up in the sky, the group of universe venerables in the auction hall felt their scalps go numb when they saw Wang Xian's terrifying attack. After the river of annihilation swept past them, they felt as if even the starry sky had fallen silent. The area that was swept by this energy seemed to have become a dead zone. Buzz buzz. The terrifying energy swept through everything within a radius of more than 1 billion kilometers. None of the ancient sea race experts rushing over managed to escape this horrifying attack. The energy swept over, and their corpses floated in the air. With one strike, 80% of the Guhai race's experts on this continent instantly died. Hiss. Looking at this terrifying attack, everyone around sucked in a breath of cold air. Their eyes were filled with shock. This is... At the same time, in the void not far away, 2 golden light spots flew over rapidly. Behind them were more than 20 figures shrouded in golden light. When the 2 patriarchs of the Orthodox God race at the front saw this horrifying attack, they were filled with fear. This is at least the attack power of a rank 7 universe venerable. Moreover, I can feel the threat of death from this attack. One of the golden light spots stopped instantly. He stared ahead with a grave expression and an awful look. He's very strong. Damn it! Why did such an expert appear out of nowhere? How did we, the Orthodox God race, offend him? The other patriarch of the Orthodox God race also stopped and growled in a low voice. They had actually encountered such a strong enemy when they were about to disembark. This was simply bad news for the Orthodox God race. If the other party launched a sneak attack on them when they were about to disembark, they might fall short of success, or even suffer great losses. After all, the race they were challenging this time was not weak. They should have the fighting power of a rank 7 universe venerable. Patriarch. Patriarch, what should we do? At this time more than 20 rank 6 venerables flew over. They looked at the terrifying energy in front of them, and their faces were filled with fear. This aura was at least that of a rank 7 universe venerable. Patriarch, they dared to kill Third Elder and the rest. Let's kill them. Our entire army is here. What's there to be afraid of? Let's wipe them out. A burly old man bellowed with killing intent. Idiot. The two old men in the lead barked furiously at him. Ganging up on a level 7 venerable, the righteous god race indeed had the ability to destroy him. However, would the other party wait for them to attack? The other party would have already escaped before the army arrived. Next, they would have to disembark. By then, if the other party attacked from behind, the Orthodox god race would suffer immeasurable losses. They might even fail to disembark. Patriarch, what should we do now? The leader of the Orthodox god race asked solemnly. They were in deep trouble now. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone around him fell silent. What should they do? There were two ways. One was to seek peace with the other party. If their people died, so be it. Their priority was to disembark. The second way was to fight the other party. However, if they fought the other party, it would mean that they might have to give up this disembark. After giving up, they would have to wait 100 million years for another disembark. This was the rule of the disembark. After all, they had to give up at the last minute. 100 million years was a long time for the Orthodox god race. Who are you? Aren't you afraid of our revenge after killing so many of our people and experts from the Orthodox god race? At this moment, an infuriated roar came from the main road of the ancient sea race. Down below, an old man bellowed at Wuxia, who was hovering in the sky. Ha ha ha! Revenge on me? In that case, the Dragon Palace will annihilate all the ancient sea race and the Orthodox god race. Wuxia's eyes were filled with murderous intent when he heard the voice from below. He waved his arm and the 5 elements grindstone enlarged and attacked the land below. Dragon King of the Dragon Palace? All the experts from the Orthodox god race were incomparably gloomy when they heard this. Chapter 3287. Dragon King of Dragon Palace. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace who had defeated the Demon Dragon lineage, and the Fire Dragon Palace. Not long ago, all the factions in the surrounding starry heavens had been paying attention to the war and slaughter of the divine dragon bloodline. The righteous god races naturally paid attention to this as well. However, they did not take it seriously at all. At that time, the main god tribes were already preparing to disembark. Moreover, in their opinion, the divine dragon bloodline was merely relying on the Dragon Palace. Without the Dragon Palace, they were nothing much. However, the Dragon King's strength had actually reached the Universe Venerable Level 7. That was a Universe Venerable Level 7. The righteous god clans only had 2 patriarchs with such power. You want to exterminate the righteous god races? When the experts from the Orthodox god clans heard Wuxia, their faces darkened. Old ancestor, let's go kill that arrogant Dragon King. A righteous god expert couldn't help but growl. Their eyes were fixed on the Dragon King who was wreaking havoc on the continent, and their faces were filled with rage. They, the righteous god race, had been invincible in the starry sky for hundreds of millions of years. For hundreds of millions of years, no one had dared to be arrogant with them, and no one had dared to say that they would destroy them. Now they wanted to destroy them? Everyone's face revealed a cold expression. If we're going to make a move, we'll have to completely destroy that Dragon King. The 2 patriarchs of the central god race were also filled with killing intent. It had been a long time since someone had dared to provoke the righteous god race. However, if they chose to make a move, then they had to be confident that they could make the other party stay. Old ancestor, there are still 5 days before our landing battle. If we clash with the Dragon Palace, then our landing battle. The patriarch of the true god race said with an ugly expression. Now they were in a difficult position. If they were to clash with the Dragon Palace now, the landing battle would definitely be affected. They might even be attacked by the Dragon Palace during the battle. However, if they gave up on the landing battle because they had unilaterally violated the rules, then they could forget about landing for the next 100 million years. Either way, it would be a huge loss for them. At this time, the Dragon Palace is already riding on top of us. Why should we be afraid of them? At worst, we can just wait for 100 million years. Now the Dragon Palace has several Dragon Palaces. If we can destroy them, our harvest might not be any less than in the chaotic continent. That's right. Destroy the Dragon Palace. Although the Divine Dragon Bloodline's Dragon Palace is strong, I don't believe there is no way to destroy it. Several hot-tempered old men roared angrily. All right, we'll give up on landing and destroy the Dragon Palace. The two patriarchs of the righteous gods clenched their teeth and growled. Their eyes were bloodshot. This decision was a great loss to the upright gods. There was only one way to make up for it, and that was to destroy the Dragon Palaces. As long as they obtained the Dragon Palaces, they could make up for all the losses. However, they had no other choice. They didn't dare to continue the battle of landing. If the Dragon Palace launched a sneak attack from behind, they wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. Contact the Gu Hai races. Tell them to make preparations and immediately attack the Divine Dragon Palace. A patriarch of a righteous god race ordered. Old ancestor, should we attack the Dragon King and let him know the consequences of offending us? An old man growled in a low voice. No need. There's no need to waste time. Let's attack the Dragon Palace directly. I want the entire Dragon Slayer Palace. An patriarch of an upright god race shook his head and growled in a low voice. Given their strength, it would be difficult for them to keep a rank 7 universe venerable here. Unless the righteous god race army surrounded the Dragon King, it would be difficult to kill the Dragon King. All they had to do was to attack the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Slayer Palace would make up for their losses. Let's go. Don't disturb our landing. This time, we must destroy the Dragon Palace. The group of righteous god race experts bellowed with murderous intent as they turned and flew towards the righteous god race army. Boom. At this moment, a loud sound came from below the Gu Hai race auction. The 5 elements' great grindstone landed on the ground, killing everyone below instantly. Wuxia took a glance at the void not far away and raised his eyebrows when he saw the 20-odd golden radiances vanishing. He didn't care about it. The righteous god races had to give him a satisfactory answer. Otherwise, they would go to war. Now that they were in the battle of landing, they couldn't escape. Wang. He fixed his eyes on a figure in front. In the next moment, he flew over immediately. No, no, no. Don't kill me. The ancient sea race universe venerable screamed in horror when he saw Wuxia flying towards him. Wang. A demonic look flashed in his eyes as he performed the soul search. Waves of information flowed into his mind. There were many treasures in the Gu Hai race mainland. Wuxia wanted to get his hands on these treasures first before settling other matters. Some information entered his mind. His body moved and he flew towards the lower part of the auction hall. There was a cave entrance below. This was the treasury of the Gu Hai race auction. All the treasures were hidden here. With rank 6 universe venerables and cosmic beasts guarding this mainland, they weren't afraid of anyone robbing them. This. Dragon King. He's the Dragon King. He's too strong. I didn't expect him to be the Dragon King. No wonder the demonic dragon lineage, Fire Dragon Palace, and Saint Wen clan were annihilated. The Dragon King's strength is so terrifying. The Gu Hai race is in big trouble now. How dare they bully the Dragon King? They might be annihilated. They want to bully the Dragon King and take advantage of him. TSKSA. The entire Gu Hai race mainland belongs to the Dragon King now. In the sky above, a group of experts looked down with a mocking look on their faces. The Gu Hai race had really gone overboard this time. At the same time, what happened on the Gu Hai race mainland attracted the attention of many people in the surrounding starry sky. There were many people gathered in the nearby starry sky. When they saw what was happening, their faces were filled with astonishment and shock. Look over there. The army of the righteous god races is flying towards the back. What's going on? At this moment, a shocked voice was heard. Ha! Everyone around was slightly startled, and their faces were filled with shock. The entire army of the righteous god races was moving towards the back. They were moving at high speed. This sudden scene caused everyone to be incomparably astonished. What's going on? Why did they suddenly move to the back when the chaotic land was in front of them? What are the righteous god races doing? Everyone was confused and couldn't figure out what the righteous god races were trying to do. At this moment, Dozens of cosmic beasts were roaming in the void in a region surrounding the mainland. This was the lair of the Guhai race. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, countless experts were flying towards a planet of the Guhai race. The war was coming. Chapter 3288. There's a problem over at Star Traversing Continent. Our Guhai race has offended the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. The Dragon King has the strength of a rank 7 universe venerable. All the experts and disciples on Star Traversing Continent were killed. Even the 20 galactic beasts were killed. The Dragon King of Dragon Palace wants to exterminate our Guhai race. This battle is hard to avoid. They have a rank 7 universe venerable. We are not their match. The Righteous God Race Patriarch sent us a message. The Righteous God Race is prepared to give up on the landing battle. They will immediately attack the Dragon Palace and exterminate them. They ordered us to use all our strength to exterminate the Dragon Palace. In a huge hall on the Guhai race's main planet, many universe venerables sat on the seats. In the middle, 8 old men of the Guhai race sat there, announcing the news with a gloomy expression. When everyone heard the news, their expressions changed. How did our Guhai race offend the Dragon King of Dragon Palace? Why does he want to exterminate us? One of the Guhai race experts could not help but ask. A universe venerable with a level 7 battle prowess caused them to feel fear. This was not an existence they could fight against. You can take a look at the situation on the universe AI. The leading old man said with a gloomy expression. When they received the news, they nearly peed their pants. A rank 7 universe venerable wanted to exterminate their Guhai race. What could they use to resist? However, a message from the leader of an upright god race caused them to reveal a hopeful expression. In the huge hall, the 6,000 over universe venerables took out their AI and looked at the news. There was no need for them to search. The hottest news in the continental encirclement galaxy was about them. What happened at the Guhai race auction had already spread throughout the continental encirclement galaxy. Many people were filled with mockery towards the Guhai race. We only have one way now. Exterminate the Dragon Palace. Not only did the Dragon King anger us, he also angered the Righteous God race. Now the Righteous God race has given up on the landing battle. Since the Dragon King wants to destroy us, let's see who will destroy who. An old man in the center of the ancient sea race stood up, revealing a sinister murderous intent in his eyes. The Dragon Palace's Dragon Kings destroyed the experts of my ancient sea race and our astral behemoths. This time, we will clash with them. All universe venerates and core disciples of the ancient sea race, prepare for battle. Kill, kill, kill. Since they want to destroy us, let's see who will destroy who. With the upright god clans around, we can definitely destroy the Dragon Palace if we join forces. The many universe venerates of the ancient sea race stood up, showing berserk murderous intent on their faces. The Dragon King was more powerful than them, but now that the orthodox gods were here, they were not afraid at all. Killing 20 of their giant star beasts meant that they would not rest until one of them was dead. If the Dragon King wanted to annihilate them, they would annihilate the Dragon Palace as well. Soon 90 astral behemoths roared in the ancient sea's starry heavens. All the experts and elites of the ancient sea race stood above these 90 astral behemoths. They roared in the starry heavens and flew in one direction. At this moment, on the universe's AI, everyone was shocked by what was happening in the void in front of the great desolate continent. All the experts in the surrounding starry heavens discussed in shock. The strength of the Dragon Palace's Dragon King, and the ancient sea race courting death. However, in next to no time, another piece of news that shocked everyone arrived. The upright god race army is flying towards the south of the surrounding starry heavens. They are getting further and further away from the great desolate continent. What are they doing? There is a shocking guess. It seems like the upright god race has given up on the landing battle. The departure of the upright god race army shocked everyone. Countless people guessed. 2 hours later, 2 shocking pieces of news arrived. The upright god race had given up on the landing battle, and were heading in the direction of the Dragon Palace. All the ancient sea race's astral behemoths, universe venerates and elite disciples were moving out to meet up with the upright god race. When these two pieces of news spread out, everyone was in an uproar. Crazy, this is too crazy. This time, the upright god race and the ancient sea race offended the Dragon King. The Dragon King killed a large number of experts from the upright god race and the ancient sea race. Now, the upright god race has given up on the landing battle and wants to destroy the Dragon Palace. This is the alliance of the number 1 and number 2 forces in our starry heavens. They are going to destroy the Dragon Palace. They have given up on the landing battle. The upright god race is too crazy this time. After all, the upright god race's landing battle has a 100% success rate. The upright god race is probably afraid that the Dragon Palace will launch a sneak attack during the landing battle. That's why they are making such a crazy move. The ancient sea race is about to meet up with the upright god race. They are indeed heading in the direction of the Dragon Palace. On the AI, countless people were discussing. They were shocked by the upright god race's crazy move. However, when everyone found out the reason why the upright god race and the ancient sea race offended the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, there was another uproar. This time, we can only say that the upright god race is unlucky. It's their fault for being too arrogant and bumping into a tough opponent. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace is also ferocious. He fought his way out step by step. Why would he be afraid of the upright god race and the ancient sea race? Next, do you think the upright god race and the ancient sea race can destroy the Dragon Palace? After all, the upright god race and the ancient sea race are the number 1 and number 2 forces in our starry heavens. The Dragon Palace should not be a match for them. However, it will be difficult to destroy the Dragon Palace. After all, the Dragon Palace of the Divine Dragon bloodline is very powerful. Countless people were discussing, guessing that there would be a huge war that would break out soon. There was only one reasonable explanation for the upright god race's crazy move, and that was to destroy the Dragon Palace to make up for their losses. This guess was also correct. In the starry heavens, the entire upright god race was traveling quickly. At this moment, every clansman was burning with rage. Since they had given up on the landing battle, they could only make up for it with the blood of the Dragon Palace. What's going on? The upright god race actually left? At the same time, in the sky above a vast continent, the entire continent was filled with dense immortal chi. At the periphery of this continent, huge mountain peaks stood tall. Every mountain peak was tens of millions of meters tall. In front of these mountain peaks, 10,000-meter-tall giants stood in an orderly fashion on an empty space. In front of them, 60,000-meter-tall giants stared at the void in front of them in shock. Clan head, look at the AI in the starry heavens. The upright god race actually gave up on the landing battle. They are going to destroy a faction of the Divine Dragon bloodline. A giant said in shock and pleasant surprise. Chapter 3289. The Orthodox god races gave up on the landing battle? It seems that the Orthodox god races offended the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. In the end, the Dragon King killed a large number of their disciples. The Dragon Palace also has a rank 7 universe venerable expert. Hence, they were afraid that the Dragon Palace would launch a sneak attack during the landing battle. Hence, they gave up on the landing battle. In the direction of the desolate continent's giant clan, the group of giants had excited looks on their faces. They heaved a sigh of relief inwardly. The strength of the Orthodox god races was terrifying to them. The giant tribe's chances of winning this battle were less than 30%. Now that they gave up on the landing battle, it was a joyous occasion for them. This could reduce their losses significantly. Just as the giant tribe heaved a sigh of relief, Wuxia walked out of the treasure vault of the ancient sea tribe's auction hall on the continent of the ancient sea tribe. The harvest this time was pretty good for him. But at this time, the universe AI sent him a lot of information. When he saw the information, he was slightly taken aback. The Orthodox god races actually gave up on the landing battle. Now they are flying towards the Dragon Palace with the ancient sea tribe, preparing to destroy the Dragon Palace. Wuxia couldn't help but burst into laughter when he saw these two pieces of information. He really didn't expect the Orthodox god races to give up on the landing battle and join forces with the ancient sea tribe to destroy the Dragon Palace. Did they think they could destroy the Dragon Palace? Aren't they sending resources to the Dragon Palace? What a bunch of good people. Wang Xian squinted his eyes. Originally, he had decided to destroy the ancient sea tribe. As for the Orthodox god races, if they paid a price, Wang Xian wouldn't do anything to them. He would give them a chance. After all, the Orthodox god races had only offended him because of that group of people. If they had a good attitude, everything would be negotiable. But he didn't expect them to be so crazy to destroy the Dragon Palace. He looked at the information on the universe AI and revealed a mocking expression. The Orthodox god races suffered a huge loss by giving up on the landing battle. If they wanted to make up for this loss, they could only destroy the Dragon Palace and obtain all the Divine Dragon Palace. Obviously, they had the same idea. Since you are courting death and have traveled tens of thousands of light years to destroy our Dragon Palace, we will naturally welcome you. Wang Xian smiled. With a slight movement of his body, he disappeared immediately. The next moment, he appeared in the Dragon Palace. Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle sensed Wang Xian's arrival and immediately came forward to welcome him. Someone has sent us gifts. Let's get ready to welcome them. Order all the members of the Dragon Palace to get ready. We must entertain them well, and not let any of them escape, said Wang Xian to Prime Minister Turtle with a smile. Yes, Dragon King. This time, 17,000 to 18,000 universe supremacies from the two races are indeed a huge gift to us. Prime Minister Turtle was full of smiles. 17,000 universe supremacies and the first and second strongest forces of the continent encircling Starry Sky had sent over all their accumulated gifts. This was simply a joyous occasion for the Dragon Palace. I'll send someone to prepare it. As Prime Minister Turtle spoke, he immediately retreated. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. Currently, the Dragon Palace was lacking some top-notch combat power. Now that they were here, they wouldn't be lacking anymore. He thought to himself as he took out the Universe AI. At this moment, on the Universe AI, all the forces of the entire continent encircling Starry Sky were paying attention to every move of the Orthodox god races and the ancient sea races. Everyone was guessing the outcome of this battle. Countless people were discussing it. However, many people still had a lot of trust in the Orthodox god races and the ancient sea races. They believed that they could defeat the Dragon Palace. As for completely annihilating the Dragon Palace, they weren't sure. This was because the Dragon Palace of the Divine Dragon lineage was very strong. This time, I'll show you the strength of the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian revealed a smile as he looked at the various guesses on the Universe AI. Soon, a message came from the Water Dragon Palace, asking if he needed help. Wang Xian rejected them immediately. They didn't have to waste time coming over. At the same time, in the void of the continent encircling Starry Sky, about 90 ruffian beasts were flying in the void. Every single one of them was huge, and there were countless experts standing on their bodies. The army of the ancient sea races met with the army of the Orthodox god races. This time, the Orthodox god races had mobilized all their forces for the Battle of Landing. Swish, swish, swish. On the leading ruffian beast of the ancient sea race, 8 figures flew towards the center of the army of the Orthodox god races. They looked at the huge Orthodox god battle physique and were full of confidence for this battle. Senior. The 8 rank 6 supremacies of the ancient sea race flew over and greeted respectfully. From now on, just follow my orders. This time, we'll completely annihilate the Dragon Palace. A beam of golden light shrouded them and pulled them into the main hall. At this moment, 22 rank 6 supremacies of the universe sat on the left and right of the main hall. The 2 elders of the Orthodox god races looked at them sternly. Yes, Senior. We naturally believe in the strength of the Orthodox god races. The 8 people of the ancient sea race answered immediately. 2 Seniors. The defense of the Dragon Palace of the Divine Dragon lineage is extremely terrifying. If they hide inside, then we. The leader of the ancient sea race hesitated before speaking. There's always a way. I don't believe that we can't break the Dragon Palace. The The two elders of the Orthodox god races said coldly. This time, they would try their best to break the Dragon Palace. Yes, with the Orthodox god races and our ancient sea race around, we don't believe that we can't break the Dragon Palace. An elder of the ancient sea race clenched his fist and bellowed. The two elders of the Orthodox god races waved their hands coldly. Go and get ready. This time, we won't rest until we destroy the Dragon Palace. Yes. The 8 of them cupped their fists and returned to the ruffian beast. The two forces were flying at high speed. Based on their flying speed, it would take them a month to reach the Dragon Palace. However, they weren't in a hurry. The Dragon Palace couldn't escape. Even if they had to escape to the ends of the world, they would destroy the Dragon Palace. This time, the Orthodox god races were prepared for a protracted war. Even if it took them hundreds of millions of years, they could afford it. As the days passed, the movements of the Orthodox god races, the ancient sea race, were updated daily. A month's time was a long time. The two races had also entered the starry sky, and were getting closer to the Dragon Palace. At this moment, Wuxia sat in front of the Dragon Palace with a table in front of him. A cup of tea was brewed on the table. They're finally here. It's been tough on you to travel such a long distance. Wuxia looked into the void and revealed a smile as he felt the vast energy. He was getting a little anxious from waiting. Chapter 3290. Terrifying roars resounded in the starry sky of the Star River. 90 basilisk beasts roared furiously. Every basilisk beast had the combat power of a rank 3 universe venerable. The stronger ones had already reached rank 6 universe venerable. Their roars caused the entire starry sky to shake. We're here. The Dragon Palace is just ahead. In front of the legions of the Orthodox god races, figures radiating golden light flew forward. They stood on top of the upright god battle bodies with golden light radiating from their eyes. Two Laozu stood on the leading upright deity battle body and stared at the Dragon Palace in front of them. Behind them, all the experts and disciples of the Orthodox god races held their divine weapons in their hands, their eyes filled with murderous intent. It was all because of the Dragon Palace that they had given up on the battle. This time, they would turn the Dragon Palace into a river of blood, and the corpses of the disciples of the Dragon Palace would be under their feet. The legions of the two races were approaching rapidly. Violent murderous intent surged towards the Dragon Palace. Walala! When they entered the ocean where the Dragon Palace was, the seawater flowed backward rapidly. A vacuum was formed rapidly. As the two legions advanced, the seawater also began to flow backward. Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, I'll give you a chance. Submit to the Orthodox god races and become our mounts. Otherwise, even if you escape to any corner of the universe, even if it takes hundreds of millions of years, the Orthodox god races will annihilate you. The two legions were only hundreds of millions of kilometers away from the Dragon Palace. At this distance, Wuxia had already entered the attack range. The two Laozu from the Orthodox deities stood on their upright deity battle bodies and looked at Wuxia, who was drinking tea at the table in front of the Dragon Palace. Their eyes were filled with violent killing intent as they bellowed. A rank 7 universe venerable Dragon King? Against the entire Orthodox god race, they were confident that they could annihilate the Dragon King within a minute. They weren't surprised that only the Dragon King was waiting in front of the Dragon Palace. To them, the Dragon Palace was no match for them. The other members didn't dare to come out. Interesting. Making the disciples of the Dragon Palace the mounts of the Orthodox god races? Upon hearing their words, Wuxia revealed a smile. Our Dragon Palace has been waiting for you for a long time. Welcome, distinguished guests, haha. He laughed and said, When the two Laozu from the Orthodox celestial races saw how brazen Wuxia was, their eyes were filled with shock and coldness. Dragon King, you killed 20 astral beasts of my Guhai race. Today, I will kill all the disciples of your divine Dragon Palace. The Guhai race's clan head roared with a murderous expression. Ignorant. Wuxia shook his head and stood up slowly. Disciples of Dragon Palace, get ready to welcome the guests. Treat them well, and leave no one alive. He got up, and his calm voice spread throughout the Dragon Palace. Woo woo woo. Inside the Dragon Palace, Xiaolan's muffled roar came first. Ha ha ha, formation rise. Tianjun's laughter rang out, and the surrounding void immediately began to change. The entire starry sky changed drastically and was enveloped by 9-colored radiance. The light covered everyone from the righteous god race and the ancient sea race. Following which, the members of the Dragon Palace walked out one by one. 9 wind divine dragons, 2 fire divine dragons, 1 thunder dragon, 1 darkness dragon, 1 gold dragon, and 1 water divine dragon. Each of the divine dragons contained a strong dragon aura. Even if they did not release their aura, one could tell how terrifying they were. There are so many purebred divine dragons in this Dragon Palace. When the experts from the orthodox celestial races saw the purebred divine dragons of the Dragon Palace, they were shocked. It would be great if these purebred divine dragons could be our mounts. How dare they go against us? Hee, they must be courting death. The group of experts and disciples from the orthodox celestial races said coldly. As for the radiance that enveloped them, they did not take it to heart at all. An array that could only interfere with rank 6 universe venerables had no effect on them. Oh, you want to go against us? When the 2 Laozu from the orthodox celestial races saw the members of the Dragon Palace walking out one after another, they revealed a stern look. You must be courting death. Since you refuse to submit, then die. The patriarch of the orthodox celestial races roared and raised the acquired treasures in his hands. All disciples of the orthodox celestial races, get ready. The Dragon Palace obstructed us from disembarking. We will make them pay the price in blood. Get ready, kill. Kill, kill, kill. Kill. All the experts and disciples of the orthodox celestial races roared coldly. They stared coldly at the Dragon Palace. Over there, the experts of the Dragon Palace walked out one after another. All of them were universe venerables, emitting a strong aura. However, they did not react at all. This time, there were a total of 17,000 to 18,000 universe supremacies from the 2 great clans. They have some strength. When the 10,000 universe venerables of the Dragon Palace came out, the orthodox celestial races were surprised. 10,000 universe venerables, this surprised them. The rise of the Dragon Palace had not been long. There's more. However, they were shocked to discover that the members that walked out of the Dragon Palace were also universe venerables. At the exit of the Dragon Palace, 2,000 members walked out at once. In other words, the number of universe venerables in the Dragon Palace had reached 12,000. Very soon, more and more experts walked out of the Dragon Palace. 14,000, 16,000, 20,000, 30,000. As more and more universe venerables came out, the orthodox celestial races and the ancient sea race could no longer remain calm. At first, they were surprised, then shocked, and now they were a little flustered. The prowess of the 2 superpowers, that sharp killing intent, and the berserk aura were gradually decreasing. However, the experts from the Dragon Palace were still coming out continuously. Damn it, why are there so many universe venerables in the Dragon Palace? When the number reached 40,000, the 2 elders from the orthodox celestial races could no longer remain calm. They roared with ugly expressions. Hurry up. At this moment, Prime Minister Turtle's voice was heard. In the next moment, another 20,000 universe venerables charged out. Closely following that, many Void God Emperor disciples who were emitting powerful auras appeared. Damn it, 60,000 universe venerables, how is this possible? How is this possible? When the experts from the ancient sea race saw the number of experts from the Dragon Palace, their bodies trembled, and they could not help but roar. More than 60,000 universe venerables, 10 times their number. The number of experts that was 10 times their own made their scalps go numb. Gulp. All the experts and disciples from the orthodox celestial races swallowed their saliva, their faces showing a tinge of fear. There were too many experts in the Dragon Palace. Since you are here, don't think of leaving. Wang Xian looked at them with a smile. In the next moment, all the members of the Dragon Palace roared in unison, their prowess exploding. Chapter 3291. Annihilation of the two races in a short time below. Boom boom boom. Waves of horrifying aura surged forward. The massive dragon aura engulfed the entire area. When the might of the Dragon Palace surged towards the two major races, all the experts and disciples of the principal god race, the ancient sea race, revealed horrified expressions. Especially the two patriarchs of the ancient sea race. Their expressions changed drastically. They stared at the dark dragon beside Wuxia as their hearts raced. They could feel the aura of the same level from the dark dragon. In fact, because the other party was a divine dragon, his aura was stronger than theirs. Dragon Palace had over 60,000 universe venerables. They could barely accept it, because they had two universe venerables with level 7 fighting strength, and a powerful god body. In terms of high-end combat power, they had a huge advantage. But now, when the Dragon Palace unleashed a rank 7 universe supremacy divine dragon, their expressions changed drastically. With such a force, it was wishful thinking for the upright god race to annihilate the Dragon Palace. With the Dark Dragon and the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, the strength of the Dragon Palace was not much weaker than the upright god race. In particular, there were too many universe supremacies in the Dragon Palace. At this moment, all the experts and disciples of the ancient sea race were even more horrified. Given the strength of the Dragon Palace, it would be a piece of cake for them to annihilate the ancient sea race. Damn it! Retreat! Retreat! The two patriarchs of the upright god race bellowed in a low voice. This time, the upright god race suffered a huge loss. Not only did they fail to annihilate the Dragon Palace, but they also offended the Dragon Palace. They had also given up on the landing battle. This huge loss was hard for them to accept. But under such circumstances, if they continued to fight, their losses would be even greater. They could only retreat. Retreat! Retreat! The experts of the ancient sea race roared when they heard the words of the patriarchs of the upright god race. Damn it, we are no match for them at all. I've said since you are here, don't leave. Kill all of them. Wuxia looked at them with a mocking look on his face. He immediately ordered loudly. Roar! Roar! In the next moment, the members of the Dragon Palace charged forward without any hesitation. Dragon King, don't be arrogant. Do you really think that we're afraid of you? In terms of high-end combat power, your Dragon Palace is no match for us. Seeing that the Dragon Palace dared to attack them directly, the patriarchs of the upright gods roared with an ugly expression. According to the Dragon Palace's aura, the Dragon Palace had fewer rank 6 venerables than them. Furthermore, the Dragon Palace only had 2 level 7 venerables. If they really fought, the righteous god races might not be afraid. They just didn't want to suffer too many losses. The Dragon Palace's insatiable behavior infuriated them. The two Laozu from the orthodox celestial races stared at Wuxia with murderous intent in their eyes. Haha, you're courting death. I said I'll kill you today, so I'll kill you today. Wuxia laughed hysterically. In the next moment, the unbeginning sacred wings appeared behind him. With a shift of his body, he disappeared instantly. When the two elders from the orthodox gods saw Wuxia vanishing in an instant, their pupils constricted. Who gave you the courage to destroy the Dragon Palace? In the next moment, Wuxia's voice rang in their ears. Hearing this voice so close to them, the expressions of the two patriarchs from the righteous god clans changed drastically. Their bodies trembled as they looked in front of them. In front of them, there was only a distance of 5 meters. The Dragon King was only 5 meters away from them. However, they didn't notice any of this. Gulp! The two of them swallowed their saliva as cold sweat broke out on their foreheads. Their bodies trembled. Not arrogant anymore? Wuxia looked at them with a smile. How is this possible? How is this possible? One of the patriarchs from the orthodox gods roared in disbelief. His eyes were filled with despair. Killing you is like slaughtering dogs. Wuxia smiled and stretched out his palm. Run, run, run. Without any hesitation, the two of them fled to the side. But in the next moment, Wuxia disappeared. When he appeared again, he was holding the two patriarchs from the orthodox gods in his hands. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, everyone in front of them stared blankly at the two figures in the hands of the Dragon King. All they could see was darkness. It was especially so for the experts from the Orthodox god races. Those were their patriarchs. A rank 7 universe supremacy was subdued by the Dragon King in an instant. How strong was the Dragon King? It's over. We're finished. We're finished. The group of rank 6 universe supremacies from the Orthodox god races screamed in fear when they saw this. Run, run, run. Run as much as you can. The leader of the Orthodox god races screamed. The Dragon King isn't a rank 7 universe supremacy. He's even stronger. How is this possible? No, no, no. On the Gu Hai race's side, when the Gu Hai race's clan head saw this scene, his face filled with disbelief and despair. They were on the verge of breaking down. The Dragon Palace had over 60,000 universe supremacies. Moreover, the Dragon King's strength was above rank 7 universe supremacy. The two patriarchs from the Orthodox god races were instantly killed. How could they fight? They could only wait for death. Bam! At this moment, the two patriarchs from the Orthodox god races were thrown towards the Dragon Palace. The Dragon King waved his arm, and a horrifying treasure attacked the Orthodox god races while he closed his eyes and hovered in the air. Run, run! The experts of the Orthodox god races saw their patriarchs being killed, and the Dragon King hovering in the air with his eyes closed. To them, this was a chance for survival. They ran for their lives. However, to the horror of the Orthodox god race leaders, and the group of rank 6 universe supremacies, the disc-like treasure emitted a despairing aura as it attacked them. Roar! 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 The 5 divine dragons on the 5 elements grindstone roared in unison as a powerful aura swept out. The group of rank 6 supremacies felt as though the stars were pressing down on them. Unstoppable! Unstoppable! We're completely finished. Just one treasure was enough to render them defenseless. They knew that the Orthodox god races were completely finished. Rumble! A horrifying energy swept out, and the 22 rank 6 supremacies from the Orthodox god races died instantly. Roar! 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 Dragon of Darkness roared as it charged towards the Gu Hai race. Terrifying demonic flames covered the sky. Xiao Lan let out a low growl as it locked its gaze on the 90 galactic mastiffs and charged over. Wait for death. At this moment, all the experts and disciples of the Orthodox god races and Gu Hai race lost their will to fight. Chapter 3292. Arg! Screams rang out in front of the Dragon Palace. How could they fight? The Dragon King easily killed the two patriarchs of the Orthodox god races. The rest of the rank 6 supremacies were killed by the Dragon King's treasure. How could they fight against such terrifying strength? The surrounding void was shrouded in arrays. They could not escape even if they wanted to. Death was their only destination. What happened next was what the disciples and experts of the two races had expected. The ancient sea race could not defend against the attack of the rank 7 demon dragon. The 90 galactic beasts were no match for the demon dragon even if they attacked with all their might. Moreover, the Dragon Palace also had extremely powerful galactic beasts. It was a one-sided massacre in the following moments. They could not escape or hide. They wanted to surrender, but there was no response. At this moment, all the disciples and experts of the two races had given up. The difference was too great. They had never imagined that the current Dragon Palace would be so terrifying. They could only blame themselves for kicking an iron plate. They could have survived if they begged for mercy, but they had come to destroy the Dragon Palace. Just as the Dragon King had said, they had been waiting for a long time. They had been waiting for a month to send themselves to their deaths. Phew! Not a bad haul this time. Wang Xian floated in the air, opened his eyes slowly and revealed a faint smile. He had used the soul-manipulating technique to read the memories of the two patriarchs of the Orthodox god races. This time, the Orthodox god races had hidden the god nations of all their experts and disciples in one place for the battle. In addition, all their treasures were placed in one place. According to the information he had obtained, the treasures in the treasure vault of the Orthodox god races were huge. As the strongest force in the starry sky, They had more resources than the demon dragon lineage. What a nice guy. Wang Xian smiled and swept his gaze across the surroundings. The battle was coming to an end. Although the tens of millions of elite core disciples of the two races were a lot, the overall strength of the Dragon Palace was much weaker, especially the number of supremacies in the Dragon Palace. After the massacre of over 60,000 supremacies, the two races were left with few people. Some members of the Dragon Palace had already begun to collect the spoils of war. The righteous god races have 7 acquired treasures. That's not a small number. They have nearly 200 acquired treasures. Wang Xian murmured. Dragon King. At this moment Orochi, who was parasitizing the Gu Hai race's patriarch, flew over and shouted with a smile. Bring people to the ancient sea races and bring all their treasures over. Wang Xian instructed him. It's Dragon King. Yamada no Orochi immediately responded. The rest of the disciples of Dragon Palace, collect the corpses. Let's go. This time, we will take Dragon Palace to the starry sky, said Wang Xian with a smile as he swept his gaze across all the members. This time, the Dragon Palace had annihilated the principal god race and the ancient sea race. He was prepared to move the Dragon Palace to the continental encirclement starry sky. The current Dragon Palace was an invincible existence in the entire continental encirclement starry sky. Next, after digesting the resources of the two forces, they could embark. However, before landing, they had to head to the continental encirclement space to understand the situation. It's Dragon King. All the members of Dragon Palace responded immediately. Half an hour later, the battlefield was cleaned up and all the corpses were placed into the Dragon Palace. Let's go. When Wang Xian arrived at the Dragon Palace, the entire Dragon Palace began to rise and fly rapidly towards the direction of the continental encirclement starry sky. Around the Dragon Palace were the Fire Dragon Palace, the Dark Demon Dragon World, the Crimson Gold Battle Dragon, and the Wind Thunder Divine Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palaces of the Crimson Gold Battle Dragon and Wind Thunder Celestial Dragon were being devoured by Wuxia and the others. However, as the level of the Dragon Palace was too high, they needed a long time to digest it. The 5 Dragon Palaces flew in the starry sky, emitting a terrifying aura. At this moment, when all the forces and experts in the galaxy saw Dragon Palace leaving, their faces were filled with shock. They naturally knew that the principal god races, the ancient sea races, wanted to destroy the Dragon Palace. When the two races entered the Star River starry sky, many forces sensed their terror. That aura made them not dare to approach. They thought that an earth-shattering battle was about to break out, but they didn't expect that the Dragon Palace would leave in such a short time and fly towards the continental encirclement starry sky. Where are the people of the righteous god race, the ancient sea race? Everyone in the Star River starry sky was shocked, and they were discussing it on the AI. Where were the people from the two races? The Dragon Palace flew quickly towards the continental encirclement starry sky. The battle with the Dragon Palace had ended, and the two major forces were destroyed. Because the forces in the continental encirclement starry sky were too far away, they didn't receive any news. On the AI, people were still discussing how the battle would turn out. There were even forces that started betting on what the final outcome would be. However, not long after, the ancient sea races released a shocking piece of news. The experts of the ancient sea races who stayed behind revealed that the spirit tablets of all the experts of the ancient sea races who went to attack the Dragon Palace had cracked. The cracking of the spirit tablets meant that all the experts were dead. All the experts of the ancient sea races were dead? After receiving this news, everyone's faces were filled with shock. One should know that the ancient sea races went with the principal god races this time. All the experts of the ancient sea races were dead. What about the principal god races? What was going on in this battle? Did the Dragon Palace win? Countless people discussed in shock on the AI of the continental encirclement starry sky. All the experts of the ancient sea races were killed. This news was too shocking. Some people even couldn't believe it. This was because the two races went together. If one race was destroyed, it meant that the battle might have ended. Otherwise, how could all the experts and disciples of the ancient sea races be dead? Dragon King, the continental encirclement starry sky has received news of the annihilation of the ancient sea races. In the starry sky, the Dragon Palace flew rapidly. Prime Minister Turtle came to the Dragon King Hall and reported to Wuxia. Inform them that we have annihilated the ancient sea races and the principal god races. We can ignore the remaining disciples. However, no one is to prepare the treasures of the two races. Whoever touches will be killed. When Wuxia received this news, his eyes flickered as he gave the order. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle replied immediately. He took out the AI and immediately issued a statement in the name of the Dragon Palace. This statement was also what Wuxia had said. Dragon Palace. The ancient sea races and the principal god races have been annihilated by the Dragon Palace. We can ignore the remaining disciples of the two races. However, no one is to prepare the treasures of the two races. Whoever touches will be killed. Chapter 3293. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu is unable to find this site today. Dragon Palace. The ancient sea race and the upright god race have been annihilated by the Dragon Palace. We will not pursue the remaining disciples of the two races. However, no one is allowed to touch the treasures of the two races. Anyone who touches will be killed. When the Dragon Palace announced this on the AI, it caused a huge uproar. The entire continental encirclement starry sky was in an uproar. To think that the divine Dragon Palace really destroyed the ancient sea race and the righteous god race. How long has it been? How strong exactly is the divine Dragon Palace to be able to destroy these two factions so quickly? Hiss, isn't the Dragon Palace too horrifying? All the elites of the upright god race and the ancient sea race were annihilated just like that. The Dragon Palace is too invincible. Could it be that the Dragon Palace has a rank 8 universe venerable? It is highly possible. Otherwise, how could the two races be annihilated so quickly? The strength of the upright god race is very horrifying. On the AI, all the experts of the continental encirclement starry sky were shocked by the strength of the Dragon Palace. The upright god race was already very horrifying to them. Yet they were still annihilated so quickly. Just how strong was the Dragon Palace? At this moment, the most horrified were the ordinary disciples of the ancient sea race and the upright god race. The two races had deep foundations in the continental encirclement starry sky, with trillions of people. Now that all their elites were suddenly annihilated, they felt despair. With their elites killed, they were like lambs waiting to be slaughtered in the continental encirclement starry sky. Even if the Dragon Palace announced that they could be spared, the ancient sea race and the upright god race had enemies. The disciples of the two races had also offended other weaker races. Now that the elites of the two races were killed, what awaited them was the revenge of some people. This was a fatal blow to the disciples of the two races. However, faced with the Dragon Palace's warning, they did not dare to embezzle the treasures of their races. They were afraid of giving the order to attack. With the current horrifying strength of the Dragon Palace, if the Dragon Palace directly issued the order to kill the disciples of the upright god race and the ancient sea race, they believed that no faction would reject it, and no faction would dare to reject it. If that happened, to the upright god race it would be a disaster. All the disciples of the ancient sea races and the righteous god races fell into panic. How did things develop to such an extent? They were once one of the strongest existences in the starry sky. The Dragon Palace's announcement stirred the entire landlocked starry sky. However, it was not limited to the continental encirclement galaxy. At the edge of the great desolate continent, many races were also paying attention to the continent encirclement starry sky. In the eyes of the factions at the edge of the great desolate continent, the righteous god races and the ancient sea races were not weak. In fact, some of the factions at the edge of the great desolate continent were even weaker than them. The number 1 and number 2 forces in the continent encirclement starry sky attacked the Dragon Palace. Although they didn't send anyone to investigate the situation, they were still paying attention to the situation on the AI. When they saw the news about the Dragon Palace, they were shocked. Almost all the forces could confirm that the Dragon Palace had a level 8 universe venerable. Otherwise, with the strength displayed by the upright god clans, there was no way they would have been so easily destroyed. Of course, there was another possibility, which was that the Dragon Palace had more than 10 to 20 Universe Level 7 Venerables. Of course, this possibility was not as reliable as the first one. Senior brother, what if we are discovered by the Dragon Palace? We are no match for the Dragon Palace. At this moment, more than 10 figures were flying towards the starry sky above the great desolate continent. A middle-aged man frowned and said, "Fuck, can't we not be discovered? When the time comes, all we have to do is hide our identities. We have to go and take a look at the treasured land of the righteous gods." A middle-aged man in the middle shouted in a deep voice. The strength of the righteous god race was known even by some of the factions at the edge of the great desolate continent. Now that the righteous god race had been exterminated, countless experts' divine kingdom treasures were in the righteous god race's lair. This was an opportunity for them. Usually, not to mention the strength of the righteous god races, they would not dare to cause trouble in the starry sky because of the rules of the great desolate continent. However, it was different now. They were only going there to search for treasures. As for the Dragon Palace's warning, it was only a warning to the forces surrounding the starry sky. They were a force from the chaotic continent who had opened up the heavens. If they went there to hide their identities and obtain some treasures, would the Dragon Palace be able to find them? This time it wasn't too risky for them. There was a possibility of obtaining a large number of treasures from the righteous god races without much risk. Who wouldn't do it? They were sure that they were not the only ones heading to the starry sky. There were also experts from other factions. We can't be careless and hide our auras. Other than using treasures in the great desolate continent, the Dragon Palace has not landed yet. A middle-aged man reminded. The Dragon Palace had not landed yet. If their race was chosen for the landing battle, they would be finished. Hence, they had to be careful. It's okay, we all have postnatal treasures. Hiding our auras is not a problem. The middle-aged man in the middle said confidently as he flew swiftly. While they were rushing over, at the edge of the great desolate continent, experts from other factions were also rushing over. These experts were relying on their treasures to hide their auras. Coupled with the allure of the righteous god race's treasures, they decided to take the risk. Let's go, hurry up. However, there were some factions that were even more unscrupulous. A rank 8 universe supremacy was considered an elite expert at the edge of the great desolate continent. However, this did not mean that there were no races with such experts. Some races even had 1 or 2 rank 8 universe supremacies. Some even had a dozen or 20. Such a faction was even more unscrupulous. They immediately sent experts over. The treasures of the righteous god races were also a huge resource for them. If they were lucky, they would be able to obtain a large number of treasures. Why not? Moreover, according to what they knew from the universe AI, the Dragon Palace would need at least half a month to reach the righteous god races in the great desolate continent. The distance between them was closer, and they were faster. In the starry sky, Wuxia did not know that although the major forces in the great desolate continent did not dare to touch their spoils of war, some experts from the great desolate continent had already entered the great desolate continent and were flying towards the nests of the righteous god races. At this moment in the Dragon Palace, Wuxia was studying the 30 righteous god combat bodies. Righteous god combat bodies, the strongest rank 7 universe supremacy. Chapter 3294. Lich. This righteous god battle body is made from a special metal. It is infused with the power of metal attribute laws, as well as some bloodlines of the righteous god race. In the vast starry sky, the Dragon Palace flew quickly. Wuxia stood in the Dragon Palace and observed the righteous god combat bodies. The 30 righteous god battle bodies were one of the strongest trump cards of a righteous god race. However, before these 30 righteous god battle bodies could even be activated, the righteous god race was destroyed. The righteous god body can be absorbed by the devouring dragon. As for the rest, it won't be of much use. He studied it and shook his head slightly. The true god battle body was similar to the battle angel, but it was also very different. It was not as easy to make as the battle angel. If the devouring dragon devours these upright deity battle bodies, its strength will increase by a lot. Prime Minister Turtle stood at the side and said with a smile. How are Wuxia and the others progressing? Wuxia asked Prime Minister Turtle with a smile. Wuxia and his 4 underlings have already reached the universe venerable realm, yet they haven't even finished devouring a dragon palace. Prime Minister Turtle laughed. Based on my guess, after devouring 2 dragon palaces, Wuxia should be able to raise his battle prowess to universe venerable level 9. 9th order? Sure, after he's done leveling up, our dragon palace will be able to absorb the resources of the 2 forces. At that time, we'll embark on the battle, said Wuxia. Yes, Dragon King. With our strength, it will be a piece of cake for us to disembark. Prime Minister Turtle had a confident look on his face. The dragon palace flew in the starry sky and entered the continent encirclement starry sky after 2 days. When all the forces saw the dragon palaces flying across the starry sky, their faces were filled with awe. The dragon palace's current strength was truly feared by all the forces. Time passed day by day, within the lair of a righteous god race. Ever since the dragon palace made the announcement, the righteous god clans had lost their morale. Some of the planet's powerhouses declared that they would not touch all the treasures in their lair. There were also some elite disciples of the upright god race's planets who had left in all directions. They hid in the starry sky surrounding the continent and waited for the incident to pass. In short, the entire territory of the righteous god races was in chaos. Trash, didn't you say that this is your nest? Why isn't there anything? On a golden planet, an old man stared at a void god emperor from a righteous deity race and questioned him coldly. Sir, this is really the base of the upright god race. I didn't lie to you. I didn't lie to you. The disciple of the upright god clans who was being manipulated by the old man roared in terror. Trash. The elder's face was ice cold. He waved his arm, and that disciple's consciousness became blurry as he was tossed into the distance. He wasn't dead, but it would take a long time for him to fully recover. Although they couldn't see it, they didn't dare to break the rules. The upright god race may have been worried that they would be ambushed during the landing battle, so they moved their god kingdom and treasures. They should be hidden in a hidden place. If we can find it, we will definitely have a terrifying harvest. An old man said with a fiery gaze. It's not just our race. There are at least 7 or 8 of them. The old man said with a frown. Continue the search. The crowd did not stop at all. The treasures of the upright god clans, even if they couldn't compare to the treasures of their own clans, they wouldn't be far off. One by one the experts searched quickly. Damn it, they really hid it well. Even we can't find it. At this moment, not far away, more than 20 experts with powerful auras floated in the void. They weren't very big, but their figures were very strange. Their entire bodies seemed to be pieced together. They were oddly shaped and filled with evil and evil. Their gazes swept across the surroundings, and their expressions were ugly. If we could attack, we could also use sacrificial sorcery techniques to find the god countries of the experts of the upright god race. But damn it, we can't attack. A life form without legs, with only a pair of eyes, floated in the void and said coldly. They were the famous shaman demon race, located at the edge of heaven creation desolate continent. The upright god race has prepared for this landing battle for hundreds of millions of years. The hiding place of their god countries is definitely very secretive. Without special techniques, it will be very hard to find it just by searching. Beside him, another shaman demon said solemnly. They had special methods to find the god countries of the experts of the upright god race, but they needed a medium. Bloodlines. Through large amounts of bloodlines, they could confirm the location of the god countries of the upright god race experts. But to obtain these bloodlines, they would have to kill large numbers of the upright god race clansmen. This was against the rules. They didn't dare to do it. There's another method, which is to conduct a fair trade. We can spend some resources to buy some bloodlines from the disciples of the upright god race. However, the moment we do this, the other powers in Dragon Palace will find out. At that time, we will become enemies with Dragon Palace. Another shaman demon frowned and suggested. Their shaman demon race wasn't weak, but their strongest expert was only a level 8 universe sage. Dragon Palace now had a level 8 universe sage, and it was the god dragon bloodline. Now they had to consider if it was worth it. We are naturally much stronger than Dragon Palace, but the god dragon bloodline has huge potential. The shaman demon in the center pondered. There are 2 level 7 god countries of the upright god race, and over 10,000 of them. Report to the patriarch and the rest, let them decide. After hesitating for a while, he still decided. All right. The rest of the shamans nodded. The patriarch has already replied, if we can find all the god countries in one go, we will occupy them. If we can only find a small portion, we will give it to Dragon Palace. Compared to the god countries and treasury of the upright god race, becoming enemies with Dragon Palace isn't much. The message was sent out, and they soon received a reply. The shaman demon in the center said indifferently, all right, let's do it. The group of shamans immediately replied, and they swiftly flew towards one of the life planets of the upright god race. Very soon, a voice resounded in the skies of one of the upright god race planets. They were willing to spend large amounts of godstones to purchase the bloodline of the upright god race. Everyone only needed to give out 10% of their blood, and it wouldn't affect them much. This caused the upright god race members to be shocked, but they didn't reject it, immediately agreeing. This was because the godstones the other party was willing to pay was much more than their blood. Chapter 3295. Did we succeed? Yes, these bloodlines are enough to use tracing spells. Their god countries should be at the same location. If we find one, we might be able to find all of them. On a planet in the territory of the righteous god races, 10 liches were smiling as they chatted. Let's go, we need to act quickly. Although we ordered them not to say anything, there are too many people. It's impossible not to leak. We need to act quickly. The 10 figures immediately came to an area in space. They placed the blood of the righteous god races in space and used witchcraft, using the power of the bloodline to guide them to the universe god countries of the righteous god races. At the same time, on the planet they left, there were over 5 billion righteous god races on the planet. There were too many people who knew what happened here. There would definitely be people who would leak some information. Moreover, the experts of the liches didn't dare to use spells to silence them. Hence, a day later, the situation here was exposed. At the start, it didn't attract much attention. However, as time passed, more and more people started to pay attention. More importantly, because of the news of the righteous god race disciples, not only did people buy their bloodlines, there were also people asking about the situation. Paper can't cover fire. At the start, it was still okay. However, as more people came, more attention was attracted. There seems to be many experts in the righteous god race territory. Each expert is very terrifying. They seem to be searching for the universe god countries of the righteous god race experts. With the orders of the Dragon Palace, who would dare to covet the spoils of war? Are they courting death? Are they going to become enemies with the Dragon Palace? The powers and experts of our continent surrounding space might not dare. However, it's said that on one planet, a strange expert bought large amounts of bloodlines, and seems to be using witchcraft to search for the universe god countries. It's not an expert from our continent surrounding space? Then it can only be an expert from the desolate continent. The treasures of the Gu high races might not be able to attract them, but the treasures of the righteous god races have a fatal attraction. They're definitely experts from the wilderness continent. However, the Dragon Palace's current strength isn't any weaker than some of the wilderness continent's forces. Are they trying to offend the Dragon Palace? As time passed, more and more people began to talk about it. The experts of the great desolate continent entering the righteous deity clans attracted a lot of attention. Dragon King, I have bad news. It is suspected that many experts from the great wasteland continent have entered the righteous god race's territory. They are suspected to be searching for the righteous god race's treasures. At the same time, the Dragon Palace also received the news 2 days after the incident. Prime Minister Turtle entered the Dragon King Hall and reported with a grim expression. When Wang Xian received the news, he frowned slightly. With a cold expression, he stood up immediately. Have you confirmed it? He asked with a sullen expression. The Orthodox god clans were destroyed by the Dragon Palace, so these were the spoils of war that belonged to the Dragon Palace. Anyone who wanted to snatch food from the dragon's mouth would have to pay the price. It can be confirmed that there are more than 10 experts who know witchcraft coming to a planet in the domain of the main god races. They bought a large amount of bloodlines and should be trying to use witchcraft to find the Cosmos God Nation. It has already been 2 days. Prime Minister Turtle said in a deep voice with a grim expression. This time, it was the Dragon Palace's mistake. They did not expect the experts and forces of the great desolate continent to covet the treasures of the main god races. However, with their strength, they were qualified to snatch food from the dragon's mouth. Courting death. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. Get Enlai and Tianjun here immediately. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjun is upgrading in the dragon transformation pool. Should we interrupt him? Prime Minister Turtle asked. Interrupt him directly and get Tianjun here immediately. Chu Xian nodded. Yes. Prime Minister Turtle retreated. Soon, Enlai and Tianjun arrived at the Dragon Palace. Greetings, Dragon King. Both of them greeted respectfully. Enlai, hurry to the domain of the main god races and bring us there as soon as possible. Wang Xian instructed Enlai immediately. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai replied immediately. Dragon King, which force wants to snatch the spoils of war from our Dragon Palace? Tianjun's face darkened. He had been absorbing spiritual energy in the dragon transformation pool for the past few days in preparation to upgrade his combat strength to rank 7 universe supremacy. He only knew a little about the current situation. I don't know for now. I'd like to see which force dares to snatch the spoils of war from our Dragon Palace. Forces of the great desolate continent? Hee. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with coldness as he waited quietly on the dragon throne. Enlai's speed was very fast. Now that he had the combat strength of a rank 5 universe supremacy, the distance he could teleport had increased tremendously. If he relied on Enlai to travel, he could reach the territory of the main god races in 20 minutes. Initially, Wang Xian did not use this method because he was too careless. He thought no one would dare to touch the treasures of the main god races. Secondly, it was because the holy nations of the main god races were hidden in a very secretive place. If the forces and experts that surrounded the starry sky were to search for this place, they might not be able to find it even after decades or centuries. However, he had forgotten about the experts and forces of the great desolate continent. If that treasure is really snatched away, no matter which force it is, I'll make them pay the price. TSK. Wang Xian's heart sank. 20 minutes passed quickly, and Enlai appeared in the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, let's go. Wang Xian and the rest came before Enlai. A force enveloped them and brought them to the starry sky, where the main god races were. If Enlai could teleport with the entire Dragon Palace, that would be awesome. Looking at the unfamiliar shadows around him, he thought to himself, let's go. Let's go to the place where the main god races hide their holy nations. The unbeginning Saint Wings appeared behind Wang Xian. He shrouded the heaven array and brought him to a direction instantly. He had absorbed the memories of the 2 Laozu from the main god races, and knew the location of those holy nations. At this place, there was no need for Enlai, because he did not know where Enlai was. This time, he brought the heaven array here for him to search with the array. He wanted to see which force dared to snatch their treasures. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. I did not expect the treasures of the entire main god races to be hidden here. All the holy nations are here. At the same time, in a barren starry sky, the starry sky was surrounded by rocks and various abandoned items. The air was also filled with toxins. This was an ancient battlefield where the technological races once fought and killed each other. The spiritual energy here was thin. Those who were active here were god kings and god emperors. In a remote corner of this ancient battlefield, a dozen liches were floating in the sky and staring ahead with excitement. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.